Well, hello and welcome to the Visibility Watch Deep Dive. I'm Tanya from Artifex. Each week, I curate 5 important updates that are affecting how Australian small service businesses, in particular, stay visible online. And this is the deep dive. It's an extended two-host audio discussion built from that weekly brief. If your business depends on being found online, you're in the right place. Let's get into this week's update.
When you draw an X on a map, you generally expect it to stay exactly where you put it.
Right, you mark a storefront and just assume it's permanent.
Exactly. But, well, if you run a local business today, you might wake up to find that the digital map you rely on is, like, completely alive. It's actually shifting underneath you.
It really is. It's not a fixed thing anymore.
No, not at all. You draw your X, you blink, and suddenly not only has the street moved, but your storefront has vanished entirely for half the people looking for it.
Yeah, Google's AI hasn't just moved your business. It might literally be rewriting your brand name on the fly.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And intercepting your customers before they even reach your digital front door.
It's a profound destabilization of what we used to think of as, objective reality online. A map used to be a fixed point. Now it's this highly volatile, personalized prediction engine. And honestly, that digital cityscape backdrop you have going on behind you today, watching those buildings slowly dissolve and transform into that glowing network of nodes is actually the perfect visual metaphor for the environment we're analyzing.
Oh, I'm glad you noticed. I thought it was pretty fitting. Because those glowing nodes, they represent the hidden web of local search algorithms.
Which looks beautiful, but it's entirely ruthless if you don't know the mechanics.
Exactly. So today, we are mapping out exactly how artificial intelligence is stepping directly between you and your customers. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We are digging into the massive, very quiet revolution currently tearing through local digital marketing right now. We've got a fresh stack of 5 highly urgent tech and SEO updates from late March 2026.
And our mission today is really to decode these updates.
Right. If you run a local trade business or, if you manage a professional firm, or frankly, if you just want to understand why your own internet searches are behaving so strangely lately, we're going to unpack the invisible mechanics governing this new local economy.
And crucially, we need to talk about the survival tactics required right now. Because the velocity of these changes is just staggering.
Yeah, we are talking about shifts rolling out across the internet literally as we speak. So let's start right at the epicenter of the disruption.
Let's do it.
On March 27th, just a couple of days ago, Google launched a major core algorithm update. And looking at the initial rollout data, this is not just a minor under-the-hood tweak.
Not at all. Local search results are taking the absolute brunt of the hit.
Yeah, and this rollout is scheduled to take up to 2 weeks to fully complete. So anyone monitoring their web traffic is going to see massive ranking fluctuations all the way through, like mid-April.
Right. But what is truly critical here is understanding how this update is evaluating businesses differently than before.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the early metrics show a really clear divide between who is surviving this and who is just sinking.
It's a stark contrast.
It is. For years, there was this concept of citation volume.
Right.
You built a Google business profile, you got your name, address, and phone number listed in a bunch of local directories, and you could essentially coast.
You just existed on the internet and that was enough.
Exactly. But right now, businesses relying on that passive setup are seeing measurable drops. On the flip side, businesses with actively managed profiles, so consistent contact updates, genuine local content, they're actually holding steady or improving.
Which is fascinating.
So it sounds like Google Business Profiles used to be the digital equivalent of like tossing a flyer in a driveway and just forgetting about it. Now it's like a physical storefront window you have to wash and restock every single day, or the building literally turns invisible.
That's a great way to put it. What's fascinating here is the complete philosophical shift from passive SEO to active digital presence.
Yeah.
For the last decade, local search was largely a game of foundational setup. The algorithm crawled those directories, saw your address matching up 10 different times, and said, well, great, you exist.
It was basically a static verification process.
Right. But now, the AI powering these searches doesn't just want to know you existed in 2024. It wants proof of life today.
Proof of life. Wow, that is exactly what it feels like. But how does an algorithm actually measure that for, say, a plumber or a commercial cleaner?
It measures behavioral signals.
Hmm.
The AI is looking at the metadata of your digital footprint.
Okay, like what?
Like, when was the last time a photo was uploaded? And does that photo have local geotag data attached to it? Are you responding to customer reviews within 24 hours?
Ah, so it's looking for activity.
Exactly. Does your recent content reflect the actual community you serve? The March update is aggressively targeting what the system flags as stale entities.
And the sources say trades, cleaners, bookkeepers, and local service businesses are currently the most exposed to this.
Which makes perfect sense when you think about the day-to-day reality of those jobs.
Right, because if you own a plumbing business, you are out in the field under a sink all day. You aren't sitting at a desk tweaking your online profile.
Precisely. If you are an Australian bookkeeper and you haven't touched your Google profile in 6 months because you've been buried in tax season, this algorithm update interprets that silence as a lack of relevance.
Just because you were too busy actually doing the work.
Right. And it can quietly slide you entirely off the local pack map.
Yeah.
You know, that crucial cluster of 3 businesses Google highlights at the top of a search.
Yeah, the 3-pack.
Exactly. If you fall off that map, you essentially cease to exist for new customers looking for your services in your area.
That is a brutal reality check. But I mean, it leads us directly into the why. Why is Google suddenly demanding such rich, active content from a local roofer?
Because traditional search, the directory model we've known for 2 decades, is dying.
Right. AI is stepping in to intercept the user before they ever reach a business's actual website. Let's move to our next source.
The click cannibalization. This is perhaps the most profound mechanical shift in user behavior we've seen since the invention of the smartphone.
The numbers coming out of this are staggering. New data shows that AI overviews, those AI-generated summaries at the very top of Google, are now reducing actual search clicks by 58%.
Over half of your potential traffic is just gone.
Poof! And the March core update we just talked about actually deepened this trend by tightening how these AI overviews display right alongside that local 3-pack map.
The mechanism here is crucial to understand. When someone types in a local informational query, say, do bookkeepers in Melbourne handle payroll tax?
Right.
The traditional algorithm would give the user 10 links to Melbourne bookkeeping websites. The user had to click, read, and find the answer.
Which takes time.
Right. Now, the AI reads the entire internet in milliseconds, synthesizes the answer, and hands it directly to the user on the search page. The user gets their answer instantly, so the transaction ends right there.
They never click the link to your website.
Exactly.
Wait, I want to challenge this a little bit because think about what you are actually saying from the perspective of a small business owner.
Okay, sure.
You're telling me I can do everything right. I can spend thousands of dollars to earn a page 1 ranking. I can write the absolute best, most accurate answer on the internet regarding payroll tax.
Yes.
But I still get 0 calls or clicks because the AI essentially absorbed my expertise, summarized it for the customer, and just kept the traffic for itself. That feels like playing a rigged game.
I get that.
Yeah.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to recognize that the game isn't rigged. The rules have just fundamentally changed.
How so?
The goal of a modern search engine is no longer to act as a digital Dewey Decimal System pointing you to a book. Its goal is to be an answer engine.
Right. It wants to resolve the user's query with 0 friction.
Exactly. But here is the survival tactic hidden inside that 58% drop in clicks. The AI still needs to pull those answers from somewhere. It does not generate knowledge out of thin air.
Well, yeah, it doesn't actually know anything. It just aggregates and predicts text based on its training data.
Exactly. And the businesses that are surviving this massive drop in traffic are the ones adapting to how the AI reads.
So what does the data show?
It shows that websites with clear, highly structured FAQ sections, frequently asked questions, are the ones being surfaced inside those AI answers.
Ah. So you have to willingly become the source material for the robot.
Yes, but you have to format it correctly. Large language models aren't reading your site like a human does, appreciating your web design, or like your clever marketing copy.
They don't care about your branding.
No.
Ah.
They are parsing data structures. When you use a clear Q&A format on your website, literally a bolded question followed by a direct, concise answer, you are removing the computational noise.
You are pre-digesting the information for them.
Exactly. You're feeding the large language model exactly what it craves, which is structured data with zero ambiguity.
So the businesses without those clear FAQ sections are becoming invisible, even if they technically rank high in the traditional algorithm, because the AI just doesn't want to work hard to extract the answer from a dense paragraph of marketing fluff. Adding a simple FAQ section to your service pages is literally the highest leverage action you can take right now to feed the machine.
If you don't feed the AI the answer in the exact format it wants, it will just bypass you for a competitor who did.
Which brings us to the next update in our stack, and this is where the loss of control becomes incredibly stark.
Yeah, this one is tough.
Because AI isn't just intercepting your customers and reading your answers to them, it is now dynamically altering what those customers see when they finally do look at your business in the search results.
The headline rewrites. This is a massive shift in how brand identity is managed online.
It really is. Google just confirmed this week that they're running a live test where their AI actively rewrites the page titles and headlines that publishers and businesses choose before displaying them in search results.
And we need to look at the timeline here because it shows a clear trajectory.
Right, this didn't just start yesterday.
No, this started as a localized test in Google Discover back in December 2025.
Yeah.
By January 2026, that minor test was quietly made permanent.
And now, in late March, this dynamic rewriting is hitting traditional search too.
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's like paying for a massive billboard on the highway. You spend weeks workshopping the perfect slogan with your team, making sure it perfectly encapsulates your brand.
Right.
But then the billboard company's robot decides to repaint your slogan overnight because it calculates that it knows your target demographic better than you do.
That's a great analogy.
And according to the current updates, there is absolutely no opt-out mechanism for businesses. You just have to let the AI rewrite your brand.
Well, this raises an important question about intent matching. The AI's objective is always to make the user click. So it dynamically alters your headline to match the user-specific search intent.
Give me an example of how that goes wrong.
Let's say you are an accountant. You wrote a carefully crafted headline that says, "Premium local accounting and advisory services."
Sounds very professional.
Right. But a local user types in the search bar, "Cheap tax, help near me." The AI looks at your page, decides you can help them, and rewrites your headline in the search results to say, "Affordable tax help," even if you absolutely do not consider yourself a budget service.
That could completely ruin a business's market positioning. You could get flooded with the entirely wrong type of leads. People expecting bargain basement prices when you are a premium consultant.
Which is exactly why the immediate action item for anyone listening to this deep dive is to open Google Search Console today.
Yes, absolutely.
You need to look at your search performance data and see how your pages are actually appearing in the wild. If the AI is misrepresenting you, it means your underlying page content just isn't specific enough.
So you have to be overwhelmingly clear.
You have to write with such undeniable, rigid clarity about who you are, what you charge, and who you serve, that the AI cannot possibly misinterpret your value proposition to a user.
It is wild how defensive digital marketing has become. You're constantly guarding your own storefront from the very platform that is supposed to be promoting it.
It's exhausting for small teams.
It really is. I mean, with traditional search becoming this volatile, clicks dropping by nearly 60%, your headlines being rewritten against your will, the algorithm demanding daily active management just to prove you're alive.
Yeah.
If you're watching all this happen right now, it makes complete sense that you'd be desperate for an exit strategy, a new channel entirely.
And right on cue, a massive brand new ecosystem is migrating out of the testing phase and opening its doors to local markets.
Enter ChatGPT ads. This is a fascinating pivot in our source material. OpenAI's pilot program for ads in the US just crossed $100 million in annualized revenue.
And they did that in just 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
That's insane. They have over 600 advertisers signed up, and the truly telling metric is that nearly 80% of them are small and medium businesses.
That 80% figure is the signal through the noise, really. It shows that local businesses are actively looking for a lifeboat away from the chaos of traditional search engines.
They just want a simpler path to the customer.
Exactly. And that lifeboat is expanding globally right now. On March 26th, OpenAI confirmed they are rolling this out beyond the US. They are hitting Canada, Australia, and New Zealand in the coming week.
With self-serve ad tools launching in April.
Right. But we have to analyze the mechanics of these ads because they operate on a fundamentally different psychological level than traditional search.
They really do. The ad placements appear after ChatGPT's conversational answers.
Okay.
They are clearly labeled as sponsored, and OpenAI explicitly states that the advertising dollars do not influence the AI's actual organic responses to the user.
So if I ask ChatGPT to recommend a local landscape architect, it gives me its honest, algorithmically generated answer based purely on its training data. It lists like 3 good options,
Right.
and then completely separate, underneath that natural response, I might see a sponsored ad for a local landscaper.
Correct. It separates the organic recommendation from the paid placement much more clearly than the incredibly muddy waters of current search engine results pages.
That's refreshing.
But the real shift here is the difference between intent-based searching and conversational problem solving.
What do you mean by that? Break down the difference for me.
Think about how you use Google versus how you use ChatGPT. On Google, you type in a fractured keyword phrase like cheap plumber near me.
Right. You are basically hunting for a list of links.
Exactly. On ChatGPT, you speak to it like an expert. You type, my kitchen sink is leaking brown water, I live in Sydney, and I only have a budget of $200. What should I do and who can help me?
That is totally true. It's a completely different mindset. You aren't looking for a directory. You are looking for a diagnosis and a recommendation.
Exactly. So as a business advertising on ChatGPT, you are no longer bidding on static keywords. You're bidding on context.
Wow.
You are catching the consumer in a totally different psychological state. They are in a dialogue, they are highly engaged and deeply specific about their problem.
Okay, let me pose a scenario then. If I am an Australian small business owner, maybe running an HVAC company or a consulting firm, and I am sitting here watching my traditional web clicks plummet and my headlines are getting scrambled.
Yeah.
Should I just abandon the traditional search battlefield entirely? Should I just take my marketing budget, pull it out of Google, and throw it at ChatGPT while it's still the Wild West?
It is incredibly tempting to want a clean slate. But abandoning traditional search entirely would be a strategic error.
Why?
Despite the volatility, the local map pack still drives massive offline conversions. However, what you are unifying is the critical first mover advantage.
Because it's a brand new lead source entirely.
Exactly. It's empty real estate. Right now, traditional search ads are incredibly expensive because everyone has been fighting over the same digital real estate for 20 years.
Right.
The businesses that get in early on ChatGPT, that learn how to bid on conversational prompts and context rather than static keywords, are going to have an incredible cost advantage.
So getting familiar with this platform before the local market floods in April gives you a distinct edge.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. But it brings up a really practical problem. Let's tally up the sheer operational load we've talked about today.
Okay, that's a lot.
To survive this March 2026 landscape, you need to, 1, update your business profile constantly with fresh photos to prove you're alive. 2, rewrite your entire website with AI-friendly structured FAQ sections to feed the large language models.
Yep.
3, constantly monitor Search Console to make sure a robot isn't ruining your brand messaging. And 4, learn how to bid on context in a brand new conversational ad platform.
It's a staggering amount of technical work for a business whose primary job is, fixing pipes or balancing ledgers or cleaning offices.
Exactly. How on earth does a small service business keep up with this without hiring a massive, expensive in-house marketing department?
Well, the final update in our stack gives us the answer, and it is beautifully ironic.
Okay, let's hear it.
To survive the AI, you have to hire an AI. The rise of AI-powered lead generation startups. This is the natural, inevitable market response to the exact bottleneck you just described.
Look at this startup called Dushwork in the US. They are experiencing 50 to 80% month-over-month growth right now.
That's huge.
It is. What they do is provide AI agents to generate search-optimized content and backlinks specifically for small service businesses.
So instead of a human owner sitting down at 10 p.m. to write those structured FAQ sections we talked about earlier, the AI agent does it.
It just takes over.
Right. It analyzes the current search trends, looks at what the algorithm wants today, and dynamically generates the exact content needed to surface in both traditional search and the new AI overviews.
And the ROI is wild. There is a note in our sources about one professional services client who adopted the platform and closed between $200,000 and $350,000 in contracts.
Wow.
Now, these subscriptions start at around $800 a month, which is obviously aimed squarely at high-ticket B2B service providers, but the trend is undeniable.
It is.
So what does this all mean? We have essentially reached a point where we are arming robots to talk to other robots.
That's exactly what's happening.
You hire an AI marketing agent to write the perfect structured FAQ, just so a Google AI overview will read it, synthesize it, and recommend you to a human.
It is a fascinating closed loop. But more importantly, it represents a massive democratization of capabilities.
How so?
Previously, only large corporations with deep pockets could afford the kind of granular SEO optimization required to dominate local search.
Right, because it took teams of people.
Exactly. Now, a new category of tools is being built specifically to level the playing field for small teams without in-house marketing departments.
So for $800 a month, you get a digital marketing department that never sleeps, never takes a sick day, and perfectly speaks the language of the search algorithms.
And while this specific example is a U.S. startup, the implication for Australian trades, consultants, and professional firms is clear. You have to watch this space closely.
Because similar tools are inevitably going to arrive locally.
Understanding how AI-assisted content generates leads is rapidly shifting from being a neat tech trend to an absolute core business survival skill.
Yeah.
If you aren't using AI to manage your presence, you simply will not have the bandwidth to compete with the businesses that are.
It is a totally new era. Let's recap this journey we've been on because the sheer scale of the mechanics shifting right now is just incredible.
It's a lot to process.
The days of passive set and forget it local SEO officially ended in March 2026. AI is no longer just a tool we use. It is now the ultimate digital middleman.
Truly.
It's intercepting your clicks with overviews. It's boldly rewriting your headlines to suit its own intent logic. It's offering entirely new contextual advertising spaces inside chat interfaces. And it's forcing local businesses to employ AI agents just to stay visible in the crossfire.
It is a massive amount of technical change to process. But, knowledge is only valuable when it is applied.
So what's the takeaway?
If you take nothing else away from this deep dive today, take this. Go check your Google business profile right now. Add a fresh photo. Respond to a recent review.
Give the algorithm its proof of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at your website's service pages. If you don't have clear, directly structured FAQs answering your customers' most common questions, you are making yourself functionally invisible to the large language models.
Feed the machine what it wants to read.
Exactly.
And before we go, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We've spent this entire time talking about the mechanics of this digital arms race. But think about the logical endpoint of this.
Okay.
If AI agents are eventually doing all the marketing, writing all the content, and optimizing the profiles, and AI search engines are doing all the evaluating, reading, and recommending,
Right.
at what point does human trust rely entirely on the physical offline handshake once the job is actually booked? When the digital world becomes pure robot-to-robot communication, maybe the only thing that will actually differentiate your business is the deeply human interaction you deliver when you finally step through the customer's front door.
That is a powerful paradox to consider. The more advanced and automated the technology gets, the more premium the actual human element becomes.
Something to think about the next time you look at an X on a map. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.
And that wraps up this edition of the Visibility Watch Deep Dive, the extended audio companion to this week's Visibility Watch Brief. If you want the practical version each week, head over to my Facebook and follow us at Artifex Marketing Studio. That's where I share my take of the weekly intelligence brief, which is 5 major updates curated to help Australian small service businesses stay visible online. And if you would like that brief delivered straight to your inbox, sign up to the weekly newsletter so it is there ready for you at the start of each week. Look, I'm doing this because we are in a major shift. AI is having an impact, but at the same time, it is creating amazing opportunities for business owners like yourself and me. So that's why I'm putting this together. So before I go, I'm always going to finish with one thing, that one takeaway that I'm going to go and do myself. And from this episode, it's definitely got to be giving some overdue love to my Google business profile because it has been a while. Sometimes the smartest next step is not the biggest one. It's simply tightening up the basics that help your business stay visible. So thanks for listening. I'm Tanya from Artifex, and I will see you in the next Visibility Watch update.